Did you get into the single player mode at all
There's
on
a single
Splatoon yet?
player mode. Oh yeah, like the couple, like the salmon thing.
No,
That one.
there's some guy that comes out of the sewer, and apparently, like I think there's a whole I believe there's an entire single player campaign.
I started it like you're like an agent or something, and you had to like they're like fuzzy things,
Right.
and then I just
I
gave
was
up.
about to start it, but then at that moment I was grinding. I'm like, I can't
Yes,
waste time on this.
that's what I said. That's what I said too. I'm like, no, this is gonna be too much. I can't do this. I need to buy
Need to
some stuff.
focus. Yeah, I gotta get my level up so they'll accept me into this Nintendo event.
That's right.
All
Don't want to
right.
disappoint Nintendo.
Miyamoto's just sitting there like shaking his head disapprovingly.
He's
Can you
just
imagine?
crying.
Can you imagine he shows up and he just disapproves of your gaming?
Yeah, absolutely.
God,
You know what I mean?
you would hang up your control. You just take he takes your controllers away, and you're like, I deserve this. No,
Just
I'll never do again, sir. Sorry.
deactivates your entire profile. Like you don't deserve this, Nintendo.
You got me, Omito. All right, let's get get
Let's
this
get yeah, let's
on a
go.
happier note. Let's go. And we are live. The adult beverages are poured. The kids are asleep. Welcome to New Dad Gaming, a show about fatherhood, gaming, and new fathers figuring out their gaming lives. My name is Trevor, and I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Funny story about the kids' ages. In the recent event that me and Jeff are about to talk to, I completely blew how old they were.
Oh no.
I was asked in a room of other dads, "Oh, how old are your kids?" I said 9 and 7.
Oh no.
They're not 9 and 7. I don't have a 9-year-old.
You got the jitters. You got to talk to another dad. You're like, what do I say?
For some reason. It's like every week I state their names sequentially on this show, and I got this pressure put on me with all these dads, and I just blew it. Like, fine.
It'd be funny if you had to like go into the intro of the show to like recall their ages.
Yeah, let me just roll back
Hold
into
on.
this.
Yeah.
Now, the event that I am talking about is Jeff and I had the distinct honor. We were really blown away that we were invited to this, but Nintendo invited us to a special Dad's Play 2 set evening event.
We
So
did it. We did it.
it was so exciting.
Everybody.
The first response, me and Jeff were talking about it, we received the invite, and we asked, "Is this a scam?" Like,
Yeah. One would ask when, Nintendo reaches out saying, "Hey, do you want to come play video games with us?" And you're like, "What?"
it's like, do you want my Bitcoin or something?
Yeah.
Like, what is this about? But
Give
no,
us
it's
your
legit.
passwords.
So Nintendo, having heard all of our great ideas over the course of all the podcast episodes, has invited us to this event. So Dad's Play 2. So it's a dad's night out. It was a fantastic event. Nintendo, thank you so much for having us on there. So, firstly, we received a couple copies of Splatoon 3
Fantastic.
with the instruction of, please get to at least level 2
Yes.
before the event. Which we got ours like the day before, so that was some good old fashioned grinding.
Yeah.
But then we show up and they walked through the slate of upcoming games, which it's much of what everybody knows. So they talked about some previous releases, which is a Metroid game, obviously Splatoon. They talked about the Mario Kart and the recent course launches. They were talking about the upcoming League of Legends single player games. They talked about the new Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, I believe, coming out. So, which, you could just see the chat of all the dads just salivating at this new Zelda game coming out. Absolutely loving it. But it was just a chance to get together, chat with other gaming dads, get to kind of share a love of Nintendo. And then at the end of it, we had a dad on dad session of Splatoon.
Yeah.
So nothing but dads. I don't know what your group was like, but we were all terrible. Like my group. It was pretty sad. I don't know how your group did.
Well, the teams I played with, we were just dominating. We were wiping the floor with everybody else and just starting to feel bad. But we had a blast playing against other dads. It was just so comfortable. Like you didn't have to feel like you were, I don't know, on or had to mute them because they would the classic dad move. Like no one swore or anything. Everyone's kind of just being quiet. No one's yelling. Like it was perfect.
The nice subtle dad joke kind of wafts through the room occasionally, and everybody gives a polite chuckle.
That's right. Like a small clap, like, no, that was a good one.
I'd be curious to see if they. I don't know if some games do this, and I might just not be up on the times, but to have that type of filter, where it's like, I'd like to play this online game, please. Please only put me with people 30 plus. Like I don't want to. You don't have to verify because otherwise you probably get some teens, like some hotshot funny teens,
Yeah.
showing up in your old man game and just like ruining everybody. But if you could, there was something in particular of having that common ground between all these other gaming dads, and some of us will be pretty good at it, but generally speaking, there's not going to be any elite tier players here. Just having like a blast at it.
Yeah, I think that was part of it too, is everybody kind of was on the same-ish level, right? Like everybody was just having fun. They didn't have like a crazy amount of time in the game, and we were just joking about being dads, having kids, bedtimes. Like it was fun. I don't know. I'm not an online player, which is something that, kind of stuck in my brain. Like I would never play these games online because I don't want to interact with people that, are just, I don't know, there to be a hardcore gamer. It just seemed chill.
So it's one of those things that I think I'm fairly. I would believe you receive the same type of thing. Like in the coming year or so, it'd be interesting for us to create a Discord of all the gaming dads listening.
Yeah.
To see if we could start having these type of gaming dad nights, because what it really showed is just that commonality between the players like really transforms the game, and especially if everyone's coming from that same kind of happy chill, like let's just have some fun place. The actual like the voice communication ends up being like a really enjoyable and kind of changing the game dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely it does, right? Like it's just something that, and again, it was just like if you could make it, great. If not, and that was a good, 40 minutes I think we played, maybe, and it was just something like that was good. That was enough. That was fulfilled my night. I'm now exhausted, but like that's all we kind of needed. It was a good time.
Hey, gaming dads out there, if you want to see something like this happen, we'd love to start to get this organized. So you can reach out to us from our website, newdadgaming.com, or at newdadgaming. So one final pin in it, Nintendo, thank you so much for the invitation. It was an absolute honor to be there. I had absolute blast. Like felt so wonderful to be in the company of other dads and to have a company that you grew up with that, fostered your love of gaming, invite you to an event like this, like was just beyond belief. Like it was fantastic. Thanks, Nintendo.
Yeah. Thank you again. And just one final note on them. They did have trivia, but the trivia was based in our era, which was I appreciated.
It was Zelda, like the original NES Zelda.
Yep.
There's a question about GoldenEye.
Yeah. The original Metroid.
Original Metroid. It was beautiful.
Mario Kart, like Super Mario Kart. Like it was great. I loved it.
Chef's kiss. It was perfect. So cheers to that. And hey, gaming dads, you want to do some gaming nights with other dads? Reach out. Let's start to get that going. So the aforementioned game that they asked us to play, this was my first introduction to Splatoon. This is the first Splatoon game I'd ever played. I was well aware of it. My mother, my kid's grandmother, had asked, "Can I get this game for your kids?" Now at the time, I think they ended up with a different Mario game that they really wanted instead.
Okay.
But I think almost this might have been the better choice because like it from a kid-friendly multiplayer slapdash kind of fun game, I think this is going to be a big hit from them. Like what's some of your takeaways from starting to play this game?
Yeah, this one was, again, I was a new player like you. I had heard of Splatoon, kind of followed it, but never really got into it. I'm like, what's everyone kind of blabbering about this game? What is up with this? But when you finally get into it, it is fun. Like it is one of those things that is just non-violent, really. Like it's, again, just paint. You're customizing your character and you're just going online to have a bit of fun. But it was something that, and I think we can jump into it with maybe the learning curve a little bit on this type of game, where it's something that you need to know what you're doing to start.
Yes.
I think the that initial run of trying to, you have your character that's at level 1 or 0, and you have to earn enough levels to get certain weapons and customizable things, as any game would. Like you just grind to get those things.
Yeah.
But the online matches, you are not paired up with the same amount of people.
You're being very polite. The
I'm
first
trying.
the first 4 levels of this game are absolute garbage nonsense. It is
You'll
for
be rolled over. Yeah. Yeah.
like you are pigs to the slaughter. Like I've never been more humiliatingly beaten. And I'm a bad video game player. I've never
Right.
been beaten this badly for so long because for the event they asked to get to level 2, but then for the game, if you wanted to get any new weapons, new skins, basically everything
Everything the game offers. Yeah.
as of level 4.
Yeah.
So that's where I went to. But it's just like you're just sitting there taking it on the chin, like game after game. I couldn't believe it. Like if I gave this to my kid, now I do wonder if it's a moment in time. But as of right now, if I gave it to my kid, like I don't think they would have liked it. I think they would have just been, maybe they have more tenacity. A, maybe they're better at the game.
Could be.
Grant them that.
Could be.
B, maybe they'd be more enticed to get better and like keep playing it. But I'd be worried they're gonna bounce off because of how horrendous, like how dour the beating is, right?
Yeah, I think the intro to this is probably not the best. I think that if you said to yourself, okay, I need to get level 4, that doesn't sound too bad. I'll just go into these games and, I'll probably earn that level 4 like the first match. And then I'm walking in this thing thinking everybody is armed with the same little like spitball, like super soaker
Yeah.
thing. And then I kid you not, I turn the corner in these turf wars that you're supposed to be painting everything your color. I turn the corner and there's some guy in a paint tank. Like, what is this? Where are the power-ups? I want to find the power-ups that this guy has. It's a paint tank. I'm like, well, okay, great. And immediately died.
Yeah.
Like, it was
and
just,
and immediately gone.
yeah. It was something else. I don't know.
Yeah, so I could say it this way too. Like get past it, get some of the stuff, and it starts to open up, and it doesn't get easy necessarily, but that's more at that point. It really becomes more about how bad I am at just
Yes.
shooters.
Yep.
But even
Yep.
with that, it was still fun. Like it's so unique of a property, and the traversal, the gameplay, where it's more about splatting the ground than it's shooting other people. It's almost like that's an afterthought.
Yeah.
Just fascinating. So like, what a heck of a game! Like it was so very cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll totally recommend it again for kids. If you can get them, like online is a little different story. We've talked about that. But this is a perfect game for them. It's not violent. Do you know what I mean? Like it's not guns. It's just paint. And again, yeah, the multiplayer can get intense, but there is a single player mode and other modes that you can do just to grind things and get gear for your little character and paint your locker. There's a whole locker system. I don't know if you went into that, but
I saw it. Yeah.
you can deck it out with stickers and shells and get bigger lockers, and you can see other people's lockers and you're like, oh my god, like this is like school. Like look at all the stuff you have and I have got nothing over here. So
Yeah,
it's neat, like really high customization in every aspect of this.
Yeah, a ton of personalization. Like it's definitely like who you want to be, how you want to play it. There's a lot of different types of guns. My favorite was there's a roller, which is it's exactly like it sounds. It's a paint roller,
Yeah.
which means I don't have to aim. I just have to run into people and they die.
Yeah.
So, like, but it also means that I can contribute greatly to covering area because you have this big paint splatter. So yeah, gaming. If you slept on it a little bit, check it out. Like you can probably find it used at this stage, given that it's been out there for a while. It's very active as far as the game.
Absolutely. Yeah.
There's a lot of events and everything else going on there. So, man, it was great to receive it as part of the event, but really happy to have it at the Arsenal. I'm really curious to give it to my kids. I kept it away from my kids
Did
until
you?
the event. Yeah, but now
Oh, because you'd be on like level 15 when you walked into that event. You're like,
Yeah.
kids, thanks for giving dad some levels. This is
Yes.
great.
suit me up. But now that that's over, I'm definitely want to put it in their hands and see how they do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, definitely check it out there, Gaming Dads. Now the Gaming Dads online play, different scenarios. I want to bring up a story we had here at the house where they recently had a friend come over,
Okay.
and I was trying to find a way to explain to my kids that we run a fairly tight ship. We do tend to let them get away with some things, and then
Okay.
sometimes you'll kind of sneak. They'll get into some stuff either with listening to it to a bad song on the digital devices, or they'll they'll sneak
Yeah.
into something on YouTube, and you don't want them to see.
Right.
Right. So basically, it's just like there's some things, kids, where you cross the line. You
Okay.
have outside people coming into the house now.
Mm-hmm.
You need to appear normal. Like we got
Okay.
this needs to be a bit more locked down because I don't know how rigorous they are in this other household. And if they come in and the first thing you show them is some sort of zombie butt dancing game on YouTube, like they could be, I'm gonna get a phone call, and it's gonna be a
Yes, you
very
are.
awkward one, right?
Yeah.
And wouldn't you damn well know it? My
Oh.
kids, my kids walk in and they scream to the device like, "Play the butt song." To play Wiggle Wiggle Butt Song. It's like, it's like Jason Derulo. Like, and then the first line of it, it's the song is literally called like "Wiggle Wiggle" by Jason Derulo. The
Yeah.
first was like, "How do you get all that ass in them jeans? Wiggle Wiggle Wiggle."
Yep.
And my kid, so the kids started to listen to that. Now I found it kind of funny because they dance to it also.
Yeah.
But then you get from the perspective of outside people from the outside world that come into my home. It's like you can't be doing this, son. Like you can't while they're doing that.
No. Is this person like invited back, or is
Oh,
that like the end of that relationship? Like,
they actually got invited to that house, so
okay.
I think we pulled off the fake normalcy. But that was the other conversation too. I don't know if you had the same with your kids at various points where it's
Yeah,
the
it was
we go on.
it was a lot of yeah, don't show certain games because I don't know this kid's kind of age rating. So
Mm.
again, talking on the show a lot, we have played Diablo. So I do not want your friends viewing demons and going home saying, I played in hell today at this at my friend's house, right? Like, so we have had that conversation, whether or not they abide by it, because now they're older, I kind of like they go off into the basement and do whatever. I haven't heard anything back, and the kids keep on coming over, so I don't think there's an issue, but God knows what they're getting into, man. I don't know.
That's been my barometer because they did get invited. They keep getting invited to birthday
Right.
parties. They
Yeah.
keep going to other people's houses. So it's like, all right, we're doing a general
Doing
level.
okay. Yeah.
But it was just that conversation with them. It's look like you like going to other people's houses, right? Like, yeah, it's great. Of course it is. You know, it's a lot of fun. You get to it's special. Like you get different environment, different games. It's always fun. If you act rudely, if you act poorly, you're not going to be invited again.
Right.
So it's important. Like it's why you're on your best behavior. It's like extra pleases, extra thank yous. You let them kind of decide what they want to do.
Don't pee in the seat.
Don't
Yeah.
pee on the seat.
Right.
Don't pee on the carpet.
It's-
Don't tear it. Just normal things.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
So
It's funny that you have to go over that too, because you're like, it's kind of it's kind of a reflection on you. So you're like, listen, I want everyone to think that I've done a good job parenting you. So you need to really show your
See-
friends the A game.
it's like that's like cramming for the exam like the day before. Like, listen, I know we didn't study anything at all this last couple of years, but I need you to act as if this has been a very structured, normal household.
Right.
When you go to out in the real world.
Yeah. We eat with silverware, not our hands.
And no burps, please.
Yeah.
So I do love it. As I said it, but it's so great to see them friends. It's also great to see them play video games, appropriate ones like across the board. And it's actually that's one of the questions I ask other parents. My kids like to play video games. Is that okay with are your kids playing video games at this point? Do we need to kind of keep it off? And then it's like, oh, not many, but like Mario Kart or
What age is
Splatoon.
that? What age is it? Your younger one that you're asking?
So
that?
the younger one, yeah. So the younger one started to have a friend over too. So that's five turned 6.
Yeah.
So that's the Mario Kart. That's the Minecraft.
Yeah. I can remember that. I think at 6 I stopped asking. I'm like, I think at that point the parents are just happy to have their 6-year-old out of the house and like just expose them to whatever video game, whatever, as long as they're happy and not screaming and
Just
coming home with
just
nightmares.
don't poison them.
Yeah, exactly. Keep them alive for a little bit, maybe send them outside for a bit. I'm good.
That'd be fine. So gaming dads, I'm sure you've all felt that same struggle. Do reach out to us at New Dad Gaming if you've had a similar be normal conversation with your kids as they start to streak out. So being normal, public setting, Jeff, you had a very social situation and some funny kind of encounters as you had a kid's birthday at an arcade.
Yeah.
Very brave of you, sir.
I mean, I learned from the best, right? Like when you have a birthday party at an arcade, it comes with some flaws in the system, and that is you need to buy a card that has enough credits on it. And it's always something that I look at. I'm like, okay, can't get the birthday package because I'm not inviting 10 kids minimum. Like that's a lot. And then this is for my 10-year-old. Um, we invited about 8 thinking that a couple would say no, and they all ended up saying yes.
Damn.
Um,
Why my kid have to be so popular?
That's
Damn.
yeah, that's right. Actually, one kid did say no. They like had a last minute thing, and then I got a knock at the door saying, "Hey, I have another friend to swap in for that person."
Nice.
So it was a full team, and then I looked at that pricing list. I'm like, okay, how much I can spend an hour at this arcade? Then we have to hit lunch. So how much? And I had to Google average number of credits at Dave and Buster's per game, right? Because I'm like, I remember it being like 6
Bad
or
math.
something, and how much are these kids gonna go through? Anyway, I got these cards with. I thought that was enough credits. You buy them in a 6-pack or something, you get extra credits. I'm like, deal. This is perfect. Did that, and one kid, I will never, I won't lie to you. 9 minutes after we hit go, and everybody ran into the arcade. 9 minutes later, this kid comes back up and says, "I don't have any more credits."
It's like, did you get robbed? What happened?
And I did this math, Trevor, and literally it would have been a good 45 minutes of gaming. Like, maybe 30 minutes if you're running, but 9 minutes, this kid. I'm like, what were you playing? And there's this Halo game, and I guess they were just not very good at it, but the Halo game costs like, I don't know, 13 credits or something. Like it's double anything else. So they ran through it, and the kid kind of handed me the card, like, refill it, please. It's kind of like a birthday party. Like, you're supposed to be entertaining me. And I just thought in my head, I'm like, maybe another day I would have, but this one is like, no, go find another partner, and maybe they'll pay for your game or two for you. Like, I was like,
yeah, that's a tough call.
I don't know. I don't know what you do in that situation, but I'm like, I'm running the math. I'm like, that was a lot of credits, and you're just gonna burn through the next one. What's gonna stop you? Like,
It's just it's a dicey. The whole scenario is dicey. Like I wish it was more time based. Like
I agree.
Like, even if you don't like, fine, don't even give me the tokens because I understand like the or the tickets, so I can't get any prizes. That's fair, fine. But like to try to time it where they're all going to end at about the same time is nigh impossible. There's no way you're going to be able to do that.
There's no way.
Now, the kid comes up half expectantly, like, can I get some more? It really depends on the context and the kid, if I'm honest. Like, if we're being real dad honest here right now.
9 minutes in, remember. I think that's an important part.
I just mean, but if it was like sweet Timmy that I like very much, that just kind of like, that went astray.
Right.
And it's like, all right,
like a
listen,
quiet
here's
personality.
like,
yeah.
Here's a couple more, but
right.
you have to be careful. You got to, I can't do it anymore. I can't stretch it across.
Yeah.
But you also want to be careful you're not setting a precedent where then all the kids like come one by one to get that little extra top up.
Yeah.
So, but if it's sort of like, hey, I'm done, ran out, you're like, that's a shame.
That's what it was, and I just cut that off. I'm like,
ooh, you're gonna be bored. What a shame.
This is gonna be a crappy birthday for you. Like,
I got a book. You want to read it?
Yeah. But meanwhile, one of the other kids was just right. Those games where you can win the tickets out or the coins out of it.
Yeah.
And like no one really plays them because they think it's all a scam. This kid was winning like 1,000 each time. I'm like, oh my God, there's like a wonder kid here, and just pumping it full of coins and winning tons back. They spent like a good, okay, so this is part of it too, an hour for video games, maybe an hour in the gift shop, so they can all understand what they can buy and do the math and try to walk out of there with something.
That is some intense negotiation.
It is.
Because they'll do a little bit of trading back and forth. Like my two are like, okay, if we combine it, we can get this. But if I take this and then you take that amount, we can get these two things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is an intense process.
Yeah, with 8 kids that all have different amounts, and they're all like, I can't get this PlayStation 5 because I don't have enough. And I'm like, well, everybody, you can keep your cards and go with your parents. Like you don't have to cash out now.
You're trying to punt them off on their own parents. Maybe you could ask your own parents to come.
Maybe they can refill your card while they're at it.
Maybe you can call your parents and get them to bring some money. Then I can add it to your card.
Exactly.
That's terrible. That's terrible, sir. How dare you? That's why, like, it is bold. It is a fun birthday activity. Those places are nothing but lights, bunch of games, high energy. Kids love it for sure. Like my kids absolutely adored it when I took them. Birthday party, you're brave. You're brave to do it there. I applaud you.
It's a lot. As long as you're, secure and these kids won't run out the door and off into the wilderness, it's pretty safe for them to be running around and amongst games.
Well, hats off to you for a good birthday run. Now, speaking of terrible kids,
love that transition. That's great.
Best one. So I wasn't sure how to take this. I take it as charming, and I personally find it funny. Even if they are making fun of me, then it's great. So, as previously mentioned on a show, I was looking to buy a motorcycle. I've done that. So it's been fantastic. I really enjoy it. But the first couple of times that I was leaving my house with it and coming back, the neighborhood kids, and there was a pack of like 3 or 4 of them, they'd like point at me and they'd stop what they're doing and they'd just start clapping. They'd start giving me a round of applause. And it's like, okay, that's...
Did you do like the bike wiggle? Like the, oh no.
I did nothing. I did nothing to deserve this applause. And it's like,
okay, all right.
This feels like it's making fun of me, but it's in
does.
such a kind of like interesting way that I can't even be mad. Like, what am I supposed to be upset at you for like applauding? That's hilarious. That's great. You're giving me the ninth degree. It's kind of funny. Damn.
Yeah, they aren't saying like do a flip or something like.
Yeah, do a wheelie or something.
Wheelie.
Like thankfully not. It was nothing but just applause. I still think about it. It's in my head. It's living rent free in my head. It's like, do they do this to other people?
That's the perfect thing to do now. Like those kids have found the ultimate thing to make you think forever. Like, what do they mean by that? Instead of like, oh yeah, way to go, old dad. Then you're like, stupid kid. But now they're like, what does this mean?
No one's gonna get mad at you for it. It's unnerving.
Yeah.
And you're still kind of making fun of the person, so it's kind of funny. Like it's kind of wins across the board, if we're honest.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'll say this is that as I've continued to come home and drive past them, they stopped doing it.
Oh.
I was a little bit sad. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Look, I kind of missed it. It was kind of nice. Get a round of applause for my good driving as I came home.
If you see them on bikes, you should clap though.
There we go.
Like keep it going.
That is excellent. That's gonna get that running back up.
Yeah.
Like, all right. Let's give this show a round of applause as we wrap it up there for the week. Golf clap. Everybody, thank you so much for listening. This has been New Dad Gaming. Once again, big shout out for Nintendo and the hashtag #DadsPlay2 event. It was absolutely stunning and fantastic. We'll never be able to thank Nintendo enough for it. Do check out all the great titles coming from them, of course. You all know the great stuff. So happy, so thankful. That was wonderful. But if you're a fan of the show, you can find us on all your major podcasting networks. You can find us on Google Play, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere where you get your Caster, wherever you get your podcasts. If you do happen to find us, you can do us a massive favor. Really help out the show if you subscribe, and especially if you leave a rating and a comment. That really does boost the signal of the show and lets everybody else know about it, brings in more dads into the fold. It's going to fill that Discord so we get those really sweet dad-only gaming nights.
Yeah, email Nintendo if you have to. Anything to get the word out.
Make it happening, folks. If you want to reach out to us with a dad story, with a struggle at an arcade, with your own Splatoon type of issues, you can find us on our website, newdadgaming.com, or at our Twitter, @newdadgaming. One of the greatest parts of the last years, for sure, has been the interacting with other gaming dads. So we'd love to hear from you. Please do reach out. newdadgaming.com or @newdadgaming. That does it for this week, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Until next week, my name is Trevor, and I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
And I'm Jeff. I have a 12-year-old and a now 10-year-old.
Very nice. All right. Just remember, just because you became a dad
does not mean it's game over.
See you next week.
See you later.